Have you ever found yourself saying, how did I end up here again? Perhaps not in the same place, but in the same feeling. Another relationship that leaves you exhausted, another friendship that slowly becomes one-sided, another job that begins with hope and ends with frustration. Another promise to yourself that quietly slips away. Different faces, different places, different years. Yet somehow the emotional landscape feels strangely familiar. Most people call it bad luck. Some call it coincidence. I wonder if it's something else. Last time, we explored the idea that every visible need often has another need beneath it. Today, I'd like to offer another possibility. What if your life isn't simply shaped by your decisions, but by patterns you've stopped noticing? Patterns are extraordinary things, because once they become familiar, they become invisible. Think about your journey to work. The road is still there. The traffic lights are still there. The buildings haven't disappeared. Yet after enough repetitions, your mind barely registers them. It fills in the gaps. Life works in much the same way. So do relationships. So do beliefs. So do emotional habits. The brain loves what is familiar. Not because it's always healthy, but because it's predictable. And predictable often feels safe, even when it hurts. I pause there because that's a powerful one. That's one of the strangest truths I've ever encountered. Human beings don't always choose what makes them happy. Quite often we choose what feels familiar. There's a difference. Someone raised around constant criticism may find calmness strangely unsettling. Someone who grew up walking on eggshells may mistake anxiety for love. Someone who spent years proving their worth may feel guilty the moment they finally begin to rest. Not because these experiences are good, but because they're known. Imagine listening to the same song every day for 20 years. Eventually you stop hearing the individual notes. You simply know how it goes. And patterns are like that. You stop questioning them. You stop seeing them. Eventually, you start calling them your personality. I'm just anxious. I'm just unlucky. I'm just the kind of person who... Are you? Are you? Or have you simply repeated something so many times that it began to feel like your identity? There's a question I've come to love. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's honest. What if this isn't happening to me? What if it's happening through me? That's not about blame. It's about participation. Because the moment we recognise our part in a pattern, we also discover we have a part to play in changing it. Life has an interesting way of presenting the same lesson, wearing different clothes. The names change, the places change, the circumstances change. But the invitation remains remarkably similar. It's almost as though life quietly asks, have you seen it yet? And if the answer is no, it simply returns, not as a punishment, as another opportunity to notice. Perhaps that's why awareness feels so powerful. It doesn't erase the pattern overnight. It simply means the next time it appears, you recognise it. And recognition creates a tiny space, a pause, a breath. A moment where something new becomes possible. Before awareness, there was only reaction. After awareness, there is choice. That space, however small, is where freedom begins. I've learned not to be embarrassed by the patterns I've repeated. We all have them. Some chase approval, some avoid conflict, some never ask for help. Some keep rescuing people who never ask to be rescued. Some stay far too long, some leave far too early. The pattern itself isn't failure. Remaining unconscious of it is. Because what remains unseen often remains unchanged. Here's something that quietly transformed the way I see people. Most behaviours make perfect sense once you understand the story that created them. Judgment fades. Curiosity takes its place. You stop asking what's wrong with them, and you begin asking what happened that made this pattern feel necessary. That question doesn't excuse harmful behaviour, but it often explains it. An explanation creates understanding. Understanding creates compassion, not only for others, but for yourself. And maybe that's what growth really is. Not becoming someone different, seeing clearly enough to stop automatically becoming the person your past expected you to be. So today, I don't want you to search for every pattern you've ever repeated. Just one. One conversation, one reaction, one habit, one relationship, one belief. And instead of asking, why does this always happen? Try asking, What keeps asking to be seen? Because sometimes the pattern isn't your prison, it's your teacher. You just haven't recognised the lesson yet. Next time we'll explore something even quieter. Because even when we begin seeing our patterns, we're still looking through a lens. A lens shaped by memory, emotion, expectation. And until we understand the lens, we can never fully understand what we're looking at.